More discussion, and I would like to welcome from London Dr. Marcus Papadopoulos, expert on international affairs and specialized on the Middle East issues. Hello, sir. Dr. Marcus, good evening. After all of these events and also the pace of events, do you think President Trump has a plan, a clear plan for a time frame for this war?
I am of the firm opinion that the Trump administration is in very serious trouble. Evidently, Trump and his team had no clear objective from day one, from the very start of America and Israel's criminal war against the people of Iran. I would also say that the Americans and the Israelis clearly believed that Iran would collapse within a very short period of time after Washington and Tel Aviv began their air onslaught against Iran. That has not happened. On the contrary, whilst Iran has incurred very substantial damage, it has nonetheless inflicted very major damage on Israel, and it has virtually destroyed American military bases in the Arab Gulf. So now the question for the Trump administration is this: how far does America wish to proceed with this war? Because clearly, as I said, the Americans have not achieved their objective. But also, what exactly is their objective? They have said that they wish to destroy the Iranian navy. They wish to destroy Iran's ballistic missile arsenal. They wish to ensure that Iran never develops nuclear weapons. But none of that has been achieved. And in particular, concerning Iran and nuclear weapons.
And do you think the problem is the Iranian regime or the Iranian leaders? Do you think the problem is in Khamenei or the one who gonna follow Khamenei? And maybe Trump has been relying on the opposition, and the opposition are so weak.
Well, clearly, there is opposition to the Iranian government in Iran, but it is nowhere near as large as the West and Israel say. And also, many Iranians inside of Iran who oppose the policies of the Iranian government are now united with the Iranian government in defense of Iran. And the love for Iran, the love for God, which the Iranian people have, is so powerful that the Iranian people are prepared to fight to the death. They are prepared to fight to the last drop of Iranian blood to ensure that no foreign power enters Iran and no foreign power controls Iran. So that ultimately is the situation that is faced by the Trump administration. Do the American people really wish to fight a protracted and brutal war against Iran when Iran poses no threat to America or the American people? This is Israel's war, and Trump is fighting Israel's war by using American blood.
Dr. Marcus, I can understand from what you said that this war, maybe this is an illegal war, and if this was an illegal, why we can see European support? And you think Europe gonna be engaged in this war, or they gonna keep this disconnection between to making Trump satisfied and at the same time doing their traditional rule?
This war is irrefutably illegal. It violates the United Nations Charter and it violates international law in general. A war can only be authorized by the United Nations Security Council. So any other act of war is illegal. So the American and Israeli war against Iran is illegal. In regard to the stance of Britain and the European Union, well, of course, Britain and the European Union are at one with America, and they are also at one with Israel. But they are very concerned not so much by the illegality of the American-Israeli war, but they are concerned that they could be dragged into this war, and it would be a devastating war for Britain and the European Union. And from an economic perspective, who is benefiting from the war against Iran? Well, it's not America, it's not Israel, it is Russia. The demand for Russian oil has surged in the last few days. Also, the American Treasury has announced a 30-day waiver allowing India to buy Russian oil. So that goes to show that the Americans and the Israelis are in very serious economic trouble.
Trump is not aware of all of that? Do you think Trump doesn't know that Russian is the winner from all of that? I have a former diplomat from Washington said that Trump was trapped in by Netanyahu.
This war must be seen in the context of Israel and the Epstein files. There is no plausible reason for America to have gone to war with Iran apart from Trump being beholden to the Israelis, and also Trump and other senior American leaders being beholden to the Israelis in the context of the Epstein files. So that is why Trump is now in a very, very serious situation. If he calls a halt to the war, what will the Israeli response be to Trump and other American leaders? If, on the other hand, he continues the war, more and more Americans will die. The American economy will suffer even more. The Arab Gulf countries will suffer even more economically. And of course, Russia will continue to benefit. And Russia is assisting Iran militarily. Russia is giving intelligence information to the Iranian military concerning the locations of American vessels and also the coordinates of American military bases. So clearly, America cannot win this war, and America will not launch a ground invasion of Iran, because that would be catastrophic for America and the entire region.
We have been speaking about the Security Council. Do you think Security Council is playing any role after Gaza crisis? Do you think Security Council is still valid? They did not play, it doesn't play any role by any way. So what we are waiting from Security Council right now?
Regrettably, the United Nations is completely and utterly ineffective. But then that is not a surprise, because the United Nations is the countries of the world. And the United Nations, for many years now, has been infiltrated by very, very violent criminal countries in the world, such as America and Israel. So there is nothing that the United Nations can do to end the war in Gaza, which continues, and to end the war against Iran. So as a result of that, the war will continue. And the Iranians have made it very clear, because they hold the advantage in this war, the Iranians have made it very clear that Iran will decide when and how the war wins. So it's down to the American people now to put so much pressure on the American government that the Trump administration will cave in. But as I said again, Trump and other American leaders are in the hands of the Israelis, and God only knows what sort of blackmail the Israelis are exercising against Trump and other American leaders, because it must be so severe that that is the only reason why Trump has dragged America and the American people into a war, a needless war with Iran.